Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Tuesday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing really well. You're kind of quiet over there today. You're so soft-spoken.
Really?
Yeah, I know that's not like you, though.
Not usually.
No. Coming up later in the program, somebody else that's not so soft-spoken. It's Tuesday, so we have Tuesdays with Charlie. I always like talking to your dad.
That's my favorite
It is.
thing.
It's just a fun thing. And I get a lot of compliments from people. They'll ask me, one of my favorite questions that I get from a lot of people, they'll say, is Charlie really Heidi's dad?
Yes,
I'm
he
like,
is.
have you ever listened to him? How could you possibly not think that? Like, is that really your father-in-law? It's not just some bit you guys do. I'm like, no. First of all, I don't know why anybody would do this if it wasn't, if we weren't obligated by family. But no, it's a lot of fun. Hey, the king of Saudi Arabia packed 506 tons of cargo to go on a trip for 9 days.
Wow.
You thought you overpacked. 506 tons of cargo for a 9-day trip. Yeah, that's a bit excessive.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today,
I
John?
thought you'd never ask. It's Tuesday, March the 7th. Today is cereal day. Oh, I like cereal. What is
I
my
like
favorite
cereal.
kind of cereal?
You like lots of cereal.
What is your favorite kind of cereal?
Mine's Blueberry.
Yeah, I looked the other way and whispered it into the mic.
Yeah.
Blueberry.
I love
I knew
Blueberry.
this. Yeah, I like Blueberry as
I
well.
like
but-
Frankenberry too.
And I like Cookie Crisp, and I don't know. You know what? I don't know that there's many cereals I don't like.
I would say those Reese's Puffs
those
are your
good.
favorite.
Yeah, those are really good. Hey, today is National Be Heard Day. So I think that means listen to be heard, not be heard like cattle. I mean, if that's the case, then, herd away. It's also National Peace Corps Day today, and it is Unique Names Day
Wasn't
today.
it just Peace Corps Day the other day?
They got a lot of days,
I guess.
apparently. I don't know. I think it was.
Yeah, we just read that.
I have Sandwich Day listed for 2 days a year as well, because I saw it and I was like, wait a minute, wasn't there another Sandwich Day? And I looked online and there was one in November and there was one like 2 weeks ago. So
Well, that's not
or a
fair.
week ago. Well, sandwiches apparently need more than one day. Coming up, we've got more on this Tuesday.
John and Heidi.
Hey, it's John and Heidi. Join us for 80s in the Sand, a week-long 80s event this November 11th through the 18th in beautiful Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic.
Meet and listen to 80s bands like Loverboy, Starship, Howard Jones, and many more.
Plus, meet 80s icons from the movies like Anthony Michael Hall, Andrew McCarthy, and several others.
Get all the details at 80sinthesand.com.
Use promo code RADIO to get a $200 immediate refund per person.
Book your week-long 80s vacation now at 80sinthesand.com.
John and Heidi.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. Yale researchers have a warning for us, Heidi. They say television is high in calories.
I would agree with that.
So wait a minute. Who's eating their television?
Nobody's eating their television, but I remember one night in particular, we were sitting there watching a movie, and they were serving McDonald's, and we literally paused the movie
Yeah, we did.
and drove to McDonald's.
And the funny thing is, none of us had even mentioned anything about being hungry. Nothing.
We
about-
weren't hungry.
It
This
was
was like
like,
9:30,
that
10
sounds
o'clock
so
at
good.
night.
Yeah,
It was
so-
such a bad idea.
And all of us were like moaning that. And like, oh, why do we eat this so late? Now we're trying to go to bed. This is a terrible
yeah,
idea.
it was a very bad idea.
Anyway, the reason that Yale researchers say television high in calories, they say because many commercials can drive both kids and adults into a feeding frenzy. Children who watch cartoons with food commercials ate 45% more snack food during the program compared to those who saw the same show with non-food commercials. Mm-hmm. Adults, by the way, who watch TV for unhealthy food for unhealthy food? What does that mean? Anyway.
With commercials with unhealthy
Apparently.
food.
Anyway, they ate far more junk food snacks than those who saw ads about healthy nutrition. Researchers cautioned food advertising triggers automatic eating, regardless of hunger, and is a significant contributor to the obesity epidemic. So, there you go. It's not my fault. We're going to blame it on those
So are
pesky
they going to try to
commercials.
ban food commercials now?
I got another food commercial story about us. I remember we were watching TV. This is a long time ago. We lived in Norfolk, Nebraska at the time. And there was a commercial that came on for Dairy Queen, their little coffee drinks that they were doing. Remember that was brand new?
yeah.
We were like, hey, we should go do that. We drove across
Yum.
town. We literally drove all the way across town, get there, and realized that neither one of us brought a wallet or a purse or anything. So we're scrounging up money that's in the cup holders, and we were 35 cents short. And the lady, they're like, that's okay. And then we said, no, we'll come back. So we drive home. Instead of grabbing a wallet or a purse, we grab a quarter, and a dime. We drive back to there, and then we drop the dime between the seats.
Could not find it
Couldn't.
anywhere.
So we drove back across town. By the time we got, it's 2 hours later. It's like a whole different shift. They don't even know what we're talking about. So, yeah, true story. And we are so weird. But you know it's true because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain. And this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
and this is your brain on drugs. How big of a drug
What's that?
How big of a drug problem do you have if you're busted twice in the same day? Apparently a bad one. Public employee, Cleveland, suburb of Highland Hills, which is apparently an appropriate name for this guy, arrested on marijuana possession charges, and then a few hours later, arrested while smoking pot while driving the village truck.
Oh, my gosh.
He was Donald Brown is his name. Driving under the influence was the charge he was arrested for. Second time in the same day. So 2 different times, officers told him he was fine to drive because he'd only smoked a little pot earlier in the day. They're like, yeah, you're fine. Then the second time, he got pulled over again, doing it while driving. So anyway,
Moron.
his
Who's
attorney,
the village idiot.
yeah, apparently, his attorney Beverly Briggs said she had just gotten the case and couldn't comment. No, what she really wanted to say is, I don't want to say what I want to say and have it part of the public record. So no comment.
Wow.
John and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh. We head to Orlando, where an Orlando mother is in the hospital but still alive after a truck slammed into her at a crossing while she was crossing the street Thursday. Listen to this. Susan Gentry's husband wants to thank the 4 high school football players who saved her life in this remarkable rescue. She got hit by a vehicle. 4 local football players happened to be on the scene. They were in the weightlifting team. They saw what happened. They ran over and lifted the truck long enough for her to be pulled to safety. This almost became our good news for today.
That's fantastic.
We've got some more good
That
news
is
later in the
awesome.
program. You can read all about this on our Facebook page, though, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. It's part of our moment of duh because the guy driving shouldn't have done what he did. He ran her over. But it was really cool. Like I said, almost became our good news today as well because those 4 high school football players
That's
just
amazing.
happened to be there. That was perfect timing. Like, that's God's timing to have something like that happen.
Absolutely.
To have these big, strong, weightlifting people be able to lift the car and pull her out to safety. That is so cool. So anyway, like I said, all of the details on our Facebook page.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now your Scoop of the Day. Some sick person out there just recently bought a telephone that once belonged to Adolf Hitler. A battered red phone, recently sold at auction. It's a phone formerly owned by Adolf Hitler. Sold for just under $250,000. So there's got to be more than one person that would have wanted this because it got bid that high.
It got bid up. I would have bought it.
You would have?
Yeah.
Why would you want his phone?
It's history.
Okay, but where are you going to put that? What are you going to do with that without having like a shrine to one of the biggest losers of all time?
But it's part of history.
Yeah, I just don't think I'd want that phone in my house.
I would buy something from like the Boston Strangler and things like that. Yeah,
we really need to chat when we're off the air here. I just don't. I don't want that stuff in my house.
It's fascinating history. It's horrible history.
Why don't you take a time out for this? Hey, you know all those studies that say you should be drinking like 8 glasses of water a day? We've been talking about these a lot. Anyway, turns out a new study shows drinking a lot of water is not as beneficial as you might have. Didn't we just say you're supposed to drink more?
Yes.
Like just last week.
Like all the reasons you're supposed to drink more.
And they say drinking too much could be harmful. So, an article published in the British Medical Journal says there's no evidence that drinking water will improve your health.
Oh my gosh.
They also point out drinking water when you're not thirsty can impair your concentration. Health experts
I thought it
said,
helped you concentrate.
What's that?
I thought it helped. We just read the other day that drinking water in the afternoon helps you to concentrate.
This is if you're not thirsty, though. Health experts have said drinking 8 glasses a day can help you lose weight and prevent kidney damage. But this article author says those benefits are also exaggerated by a group of people who stand to profit from it.
How do you profit from
big water, apparently.
tap water?
Yeah, I have no idea. All I know is I just had to share it because if I didn't, then we're slanting our news. And we're not fake news here. We're funny news, but we're not fake news. So,
Was
last
this
week...
study done by Diet Coke?
No, it doesn't say. It's a British medical journal. But last week, water was good. This week, too much water is bad. So, score 1 for the negative water stories. We'll see
Too much of anything
There you
isn't
go.
good for you. It doesn't
Exactly.
matter what it is. You just have to
Heidi,
drink within reason.
here's a story from 50 years in the future that we're going to read today. It is actually today, but it sounds like the future. Officials in Florida are testing unmanned aerial vehicles to track down and take out mosquitoes. Like mobile
Okay.
bug zapper drones that are going to zap bugs in the sky and chase the mosquitoes around and kill them.
That's kind of cool.
It's kind of weird. Doesn't that sound like something from the future?
That's pretty cool. I like that.
Kind of crazy. So, I don't know. Hey, you have to wonder...
But why couldn't you just like duct tape a bug zapper to a drone and fly it around your
you'd
yard?
need a power source for that bug zapper.
You'd have to
A
convert
cord-
it solar
a solar
powered.
bug zapper. All right. Hey, you have to wonder about the reason for this study, but a new study from Australia says new moms were asked to sniff unlabeled spoiled diapers, and it was found
Ew.
they preferred the smell of their own baby's diaper messes. They were not marked, so they had to, that one's my
that's
baby.
disgusting.
So somehow moms have the ability to tell which baby poop was theirs just from sniffing it. So
what on earth
I don't
could
know.
they possibly
Don't
gain
know.
from doing this
It's-
study?
It's interesting. That's
That's
why I shared it.
disgusting.
Disgustingly interesting. Hey, the Japanese have invented a bulletproof iPhone case. What are they doing in Japan that they need bulletproof iPhone cases? Why? Why do
I
we
would
need this?
buy one.
I know you would. And you'd buy Hitler's old phone. You already told us. You're weird. And 38% of workers admit to occasionally calling in sick when they're not actually sick. 38%.
Yeah, those are the ones who admit
38%. Hey, we're a couple weeks beyond the Oscar thing, but I just got a story here. This actually came out last week. The people who were in charge of the mistake that happened, the 2 accountants responsible for that, they have been fired from the Oscars permanently. So they still have their jobs, but they'll never be on Oscar detail ever again. So,
Stupid.
well, somebody had to pay for it. So coming up, we've got a couple of fun facts. And, oh, hey, it's Tuesdays with Charlie on the way.
John and Heidi.
Radio advertising works. When it's done right, it works even better. There are many things you can do to get a better response, and shouting sale really isn't the best thing, believe it or not. Did you know that when you put words to music, they're 9 times more memorable? If you're trying to get people to remember your company, consider a jingle. We work with one of the very best jingle companies in the business, and we'd love to use music to help you grow your company. Learn more and hear examples at RadioReallyWorks.com. That's RadioReallyWorks.com.
John and Heidi.
And it's time right now for my favorite program, something we do every Tuesday just because we can. We pick up the phone, we call my father-in-law for a little segment we like to call
Tuesdays with Charlie.
How you doing, Charlie?
Hey, it's Tuesday and I'm ready to go.
Well, we're always glad to have you on the program Tuesdays. We haven't seen you guys in a while, by the way. Have you noticed that?
That's good.
No, it's not.
I knew he was going to say that.
We've missed
That's
you.
fine.
We're going to have to get together one of these days. What kind of cool stuff we can learn about today, though?
Did you know that 2/3 of the people on the earth have never seen snow?
No kidding. I
I
guess
would
that
believe
makes
that.
sense. Yeah, if they live in places where there is no snow, yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, they're lucky.
Yeah, 1/3
I
of us
would
are
have
sick of
to
snow.
agree with that.
Hey, well, you don't play golf, but I do.
Yes, you do.
You know what year the first ever recorded hole-in-one was made in?
1855.
Well, you're close. It was the Open Championship in Prestwick, Scotland in 1868.
Well,
Oh.
I was just a little off.
You were real close.
I was, yeah. You're welcome.
And then you know Tiger Woods, he had his first hole-in-one at age 6.
Tiger Woods did.
What? That is insane.
How many hole-in-ones have you had, Charlie?
4.
4. And you came real
That's
close to
awesome.
another one, haven't you?
Well, every time I tee off, it's really close.
Good answer. Good answer.
Depending on who you're with and who you're asking.
Okay. That sounds good. We'll go with that.
Hey, then the average person takes 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day, which adds up to 115,000 miles in a lifetime.
Wow. I'm way behind. I'm still at the starting line.
Oh, hey, a normal person's skull has 100 to 150,000 hairs.
It's a lot of hairs.
Well, of course, I don't have that.
No, you don't.
You do.
Yeah, you're a little follically challenged these days. I saw pictures of you as a young man. You never used to be.
Well, but one time I was there, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, did you know then that a single hair can hold up to 100 grams of weight?
I did not. That's a
Oh,
lot.
really?
So, like in your instance, an entire head of hair could hold up to 12 tons.
Well, let's
That's crazy.
let's hope that we never have to do that for any particular reason.
There is a sport called bonsai skydiving.
What is
Which is
bonsai
what?
skydiving?
You throw the parachute out of the airplane first and then jump after it.
Oh, no way would I do that.
I don't think I would do that
No
either.
way.
It's a bad idea.
That's insane.
Somebody throw, what do you do? Go get it.
Oh, my God.
I'm assuming not everybody makes it on that. It's a bad idea.
That's not a good idea.
No, it's not.
You got a question for me?
I do. Yeah. This is a trick question, I think. But, you know, if anybody out there can get it, I think Charlie can. It says, a woman has two sons who were born on the same day, in the same hour, in the same year, but they're not twins. How is this possible? Two sons, born on the same day, the same year, the
It's a
same
riddle.
hour, but they're
Same
not.
day, same year.
But they're not twins. How could this be?
Had two different fathers. I don't know.
No, Heidi, do you think you know?
I have no idea.
This was a tough one. They stumped, and I had to think about it for a while. And then once you hear it, you're going to go, "Oh yeah, of course." They were not twins. They were two from the triplets or quadruplets.
Oh, good Lord.
See, that's the way you go. This is a little simple puzzle. It stumps many people, but most people don't think about that. They come up with all kinds of really hard answers when the really simple answer is just that. So they're not
Well, that
twins.
was stupid.
They're two of the triplets or two of the quadruplets or whatever, quintuplets, septuplets.
Huh.
See, now you guys know. That's a little critical thinking for you on a Tuesday.
I'll give you something else as a going away thing here.
All right. I'm going to get my finger over that buzzer just in case. Now, what is that?
Got your hand on the button?
I do.
As we're talking on the phone, I'm going to the bathroom.
That's fantastic.
Well, we'll let you go. I'm sure you got some paperwork to do.
Wow.
Thanks for sharing, Charlie.
Is that like being ambidextrous or something?
That kind of is, yeah. All right. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye, Dad.
Bye, Fluff. Bye, John.
Bye-bye. My father-in-law right there.
Wow.
Sharing
That was a nice visual.
a little more than it
For a
needs to
daughter.
share.
That's super.
Yeah. What do we usually say here? We're lost. Something we do every Tuesday just because we can. It's a thing called Tuesdays with Charlie.
John and Heidi.
Many people go to college, but when they graduate, they've racked up a ton of debt. Not everyone, though. Matthew Einstein saved over $70,000 on a top-rate education. Then, after everyone wanted to know how he did it, he built a system to show you how to do it, too. Learn how you can use his system for yourself or for your kids. Go to freeeducationuniversity.com. Watch a few videos there for free. Sign up now and get a free 60-minute private consultation with Matthew. That's freeeducationuniversity.com. Use promo code radio20 to save 20%.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
You ever watch Wheel of Fortune and wonder how big is that wheel?
I've never wondered at all. No.
It's 8 feet 5 inches from one side to the other.
That's super.
It's a good size wheel.
I'll be able to sleep well tonight now that I have that information.
I'm glad that you know that now. Hey, a fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
A person who is afflicted with hexadactylism, do you know what that is? They're born with 6 fingers or 6 toes. One, so either on both hands or one hand. So like they're born with like an extra finger
Right.
on their hands or on their extra toes on their feet. If they have extra toes on their hands, that could be a problem. I don't know what they call that. And extra fingers on their feet. I don't think there's a word for that one. Hey, fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
And clearly that joke did not land properly in the studio. The setup was good, but the delivery in the punch fell flat. A Saudi Arabia woman can get a divorce if her husband doesn't give her coffee.
Oh.
So the bar is a little lower there. And our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Air pollution may contribute to 2% of all deaths in the United States. Air pollution.
2%?
Yeah, 50,000 cases per year. So there you go. That's not a fun fact. That's a sad fact on a Tuesday.
John and Heidi.
This is Richard Lustig, the world's first and only 7-time lottery game grand prize winner. Since I endorsed Lottolicious, I have won something every single draw. They do all the work. You don't have to worry about running to the store to buy your tickets. They take care of all that. So if you're looking for the best way to play the lottery, to give yourself the best chance of winning, go to RadioLottoPool.com and join today. Again, that website is RadioLottoPool.com.
John and Heidi.
All right. We, seems every other day, have a story about how great coffee is for you or how awful coffee is for you.
Oh my gosh. What
Are
is
you
it
ready?
today?
What do you think? You think coffee is good or coffee's bad?
Probably bad today.
Okay, well, let's see.
Because water is bad today.
No,
so.
but we're going to balance things out here, Heidi. Now you can enjoy your morning cup of coffee even more. It appears that caffeinated beverages, from coffee to tea to soft drinks, not only give us a jolt of energy, but also boost long-term memory. Oh yeah, now it's good again, see? According to research from Johns Hopkins University. Study author Michael Yassa states, "We've always known that caffeine has cognitive enhancing effects, but its particular effects on strengthening memories and making them resistant to forgetting has never been examined in detail in humans." Let's pause right there. Has it been examined in detail in other critters? Hey, we just noticed guinea pigs who drink a lot of coffee seem to remember stuff. We should try this on humans.
This is so dumb.
Bottom line, for the first time, science has shown that caffeine helps reduce forgetfulness for about 24 hours. So they're saying that it helps you remember stuff a little bit anyway.
Alrighty.
Until now, caffeine's effect on long-term memory has not been examined in detail. Of the few studies done, the general consensus was that caffeine has little or no effect on long-term memory retention. Now, it appears that the opposite is true. So, for those of you out there who base a lot of things on science, think about how many times we have flip-flopped on just coffee alone.
Yeah, I don't pay much
and it's not
attention
just
to
coffee.
science, honestly.
So earlier in the program, we mentioned that water is now bad for you. Last week, it was good for you. It's always been good for you. Now they're saying, too much water is bad for you.
They flip-flop on everything. Eggs,
I was just going to say,
sunscreen.
eggs are good for you, then eggs are bad for you. Then they're good, they're bad. They're good, they're bad.
So
They're good, they're bad.
stupid.
And coffee. This story today, coffee's good. Tomorrow, we'll probably have one saying coffee's bad.
Yeah.
I wish they could all just agree, but they won't agree because depending on what you're looking for, I think that's kind of what you find typically. So if they go into a study trying to find a specific thing, that's what they're going to come back. Conclusion, yeah, coffee's good now.
Yeah.
Study sponsored by Starbucks.
Figures don't lie, but liars can figure.
Hey,
so
there you
they
go.
can do whatever they want with those numbers. It just depends on how you arrange
And
it.
just for the record, that study was really not sponsored by it's Johns Hopkins University. So there you go.
John and Heidi.
Hey, it's John and Heidi inviting you to join us for a party in paradise.
This is a week-long event with 80s music from over a dozen awesome bands.
And 80s movie and TV icons like Anthony Michael Hall, Andrew McCarthy, and several others.
Get all the details at 80sinthesand.com.
Use promo code RADIO to get a $200 immediate refund per person.
We'll even get together to have some drinks with you.
Book your week-long 80s vacation now at 80sinthesand.com.
That's 80sinthesand.com.
John and Heidi.
If you want to feel better about yourself, read a book. Any book. A romance novel, a history book, even the Bible. According to the statistics, people who regularly read for pleasure, instead of like doing boring reports and stuff, have higher levels of self-esteem, lower levels of stress, and can cope better with difficult situations than non-readers, according to research from the University of Liverpool in England. Heidi, you're a reader. Do you agree with this?
Uh-huh.
Do you feel better when you're done reading something?
Yeah, I do. I like to read.
There are times that you'll read a book, you're like, oh, you've got to read this book. And I'm like,
You don't read
you
those
just tell me
kinds
the
of
book.
books.
Tell me what happens. I do
Yeah.
that for you with movies that you won't watch. I'm like, that was such a great movie. You should watch it. You're like, why? You just told me everything that happened
Yeah,
in the movie.
don't need to see
really
it.
don't need to see it. And same for you. When it's a good book, you tell me what happened. And I'm like, hey, this is a good deal. You read books and tell me how they end. And
But here's
I'll
the
watch
thing.
movies and tell you how they end.
With books, and I don't sit and I don't talk for hours and tell
No.
you about the book like you do about movies.
Sometimes I explain the movie longer than the movie took.
Yeah.
You're like, was this a 7-hour movie? Because
Our
we're 6
son-
hours
our
in right
son
now.
does that, too.
He does. He gets it from me.
But-
I'm sorry, Troy.
But a book, I say, that was a good book. You should read it. And you're like, nah.
Story over. There you go. Coming up, we're going to talk about exercise.
John and Heidi.
If you have no time to exercise and even less interest in exercise, but you know you should exercise, What if you could exercise in a very short bout while you're at work? Maybe even over your lunch hour or doing chores around the house. Well, now you can, Heidi. It says just run up and down the stairs. Very short, intense bouts of stair climbing, which can be done basically anywhere for free, have major benefits for heart health. You don't need to go to a gym to do it. You don't need to find an hour a day for exercise. They say just take the stairs when you're going on your regular path. Instead of taking an elevator or an escalator, climb the stairs. That's good for you. It says here, this is from Canadian researchers from McMaster's University in Hamilton, Ontario. Stair climbing has an effective and time-efficient alternative. Let me try that again. Stair climbing is an effective and time-efficient alternative for improving heart health. It fits exercise into your life rather than having to structure your life around exercise. So they say, take the stairs.
I've started doing that.
It's
I
a
take
good
the
thing.
stairs now every day.
I take the stairs more often than I used to because I keep forgetting stuff down here. I'm like, I got to run back up. Now I got to run back down. Now I got to run back up. Dang it.
John and Heidi.
Many people go to college, but when they graduate, they've racked up a ton of debt. Not everyone, though. Matthew Einstein saved over $70,000 on a top-rate education. Then, after everyone wanted to know how he did it, he built a system to show you how to do it too. Learn how you can use this system for yourself or for your kids. Go to freeeducationuniversity.com. Sign up now and get a free 60-minute private consultation with Matthew. That's freeeducationuniversity.com. Use promo code RADIO20 to save 20%.
John and Heidi.
Do you notice a difference in your brain power based on the season, Heidi?
Yeah, I suppose.
Very well could be cold temperatures or steamy humidity make a difference in how well we think. Could even have a little bit of strength in your short-term memory. According to Health Day News, research from Belgium, they say people in this study there found that attention skills were best near the summer solstice in June, and they were worst in the wintertime, like during winter solstice in December. Short-term memory was best in the fall and worst in the spring. Now, spring is your favorite season, isn't it?
I love spring. Yeah, it is
They
my
say
favorite.
Short-term memory could be worse in the spring. Now, here's some good news. They say it's important to note the differences in brain function are not significant enough for most people to notice in day-to-day life. However, the amount of brain activity did change, and the author of the report insists that the reason is most likely responsible for that is the season. So the season that we're in is the biggest reason. So it's not totally clear, but researchers think that it has multiple factors like seasonal change, humidity, temperature, length of days, even social interaction between people that are involved. I think the last one has the most to do for me personally. Like when it's cold and yucky out, you're not hanging out outside. Like if it's raining and gloomy or if it's snowing, you're not outside.
Right.
There are times we'll go months without even saying hello to our neighbors.
Yeah.
Like I'll wave at them if they're driving by or whatever, but we're not outside.
We just had a neighbor that had a baby the other day. I
Yeah.
had no clue they were even pregnant.
Well, but yeah, they're a former neighbor. We don't live next door anymore. They were our
Right,
neighbor.
but I mean, still, you'd think that somebody would have reached out and told us something.
Why
Somebody
would
in the neighborhood,
would
somebody
somebody-
somewhere would have
No.
said something
If
to
you were
us.
paying attention to her Facebook page, you would have known.
I was.
Sure you were. Snooty over there, not even reaching out to her on her Facebook page. Anyway, I think that has a bigger factor. But according to these guys, they say I'm wrong, and it has everything to do with like the barometric pressure or something. I don't know. Got some good news. That's on the way.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
I think this is some really good news. Earlier in the program, we had good news that could have been the good news, but I think this is better news.
Okay.
It's just really good news. A little girl was in line to get an autograph from a Boston Red Sox player. This was during the team's open house at JetBlue Park in Fort Myers, Florida, when the child noticed somebody else, an Army reservist standing nearby. Rather than simply carrying on with her quest to get the Major League ball player's signature, McKenna Woodburn, age 7, hopped out of line and walked over to the reservist, Olivia Russell, and asked the soldier for her autograph instead. I think that's really cool.
That is fantastic.
This 7-year-old knows a hero when she sees one.
Well,
I think
and
that
that's
is
good
amazing.
parenting right
That
there.
is.
You know that the parents have raised her right.
Yeah.
If she did that, that probably wasn't
Now,
done on her own.
I've got a link to this story on our Facebook page, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show, and I encourage you to check that out. One of the things that I think our kids would have probably done that. Our kids, we've raised them.
I've seen them many times go
Yeah.
out of their way to thank service members, and,
Yeah.
and it chokes me up every time.
I remember one time our daughter had a lemonade stand, and the chief of police in the town that we lived in at the time was a friend of mine, and he told me, he said, "Hey, I stopped by to get some lemonade from your daughter." And he said it was funny because she had a sign, because this was a thing for honor flights, if you guys remember those from a few years back. She was trying to help contribute money for that. So her sign said, buy some lemonade for the V-trains. She had veterans spelled wrong. She was like
so
6 at the time.
adorable.
Oh, it was so cool. And she, I don't remember how much she raised, but she did pretty well.
She did very
and she
well.
was so excited to take that down and give it to him. It was
Yeah.
just, so anyway, in this household, and my wife and I, we work together here in our family, veterans, not just veterans, veterans for sure, but also police, fire, all the people that are on the front line in America. You guys matter to us. You really do. And that really means something to us. So thank you for your service, whether it's here or there, near or far. It matters to us. So thank you.
Absolutely.
And thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great Tuesday.